Good morning, stitching friends. Sandy the Sunroom Stitcher coming to you from the gray, windy folds of my beautiful lilac thicket. It is welcome to March 2nd, 2026. You have not heard from me. Oh, it's 9:15 in the morning. You have not heard from me since I believe Wednesday of last week. I've just been struggling and struggling with my stitching mojo. And you see wet hair? Yeah. Got up and hopped in the shower. Um, so, as I said, I've been struggling with my stitching. Excuse me. This weather and my sinuses. Um, I have nothing. I've been so easily distracted. I have been getting some things done around the house, though, like some spring cleaning kind of things and reorganizing and such like that. But I also have stitched. I've kept up with my star of the day from Primrose Cottage. You can see here that I've started on the new row. This was from yesterday, and I will stitch my today's star when I get done with this video. And it's looking good. I did move it to one of my triangular shaped DMC hoops, which I do love these. I do love them. They're easier for me to handle. They're not so bulky because I do stitch like this, poking my needle through the thread like that, and the flat part can rest against my chest. So that's what works for me. And but I love these, and I've got 3 of these, and then 3 of some that are just a twinge smaller, and then they had sent me 2 free smaller ones, so I am stocked up on those. And I love my Nerge hoops. They are wonderful. I really do like them. And since I know a lot of people stitch with stands, I don't want a stand. It's not the way I've stitched. And I know y'all can hardly believe this, but I started stitching when I was 29, and I've been stitching for 40 years. And I know what you're saying. Oh my gosh, you must be lying about your age. No. My body feels 99 sometimes. But anyways, so I started stitching in 1986, and I started to help me quit smoking. And I was working at the hospital as a pharmacy technician, and I was looking for something to do with my hands. And I saw that I always loved sewing. And I saw a lady sitting in the waiting area. She was doing something interesting, and so I walked over and started talking to her. She was doing cross stitch. She explained to me what the basics of it, and I said, "Well, how would I go about starting one of these? Where would I go to get this?" And she said, like, a hobby store, Hobby Lobby, because at that time I believe it was Hobby Lobby. So, or it was Craft Emporium, one or two. We had a Craft Emporium here up at the old shopping center. So anyway, I went in there and I found a small kit, and it was a basket, and it had apples in it. And it wasn't really a beginner's kit, but I didn't have any problems with it. My problems were I didn't really understand the back stitching, and so I was instead of going from hole to back stitch, I was trying to follow the directions and hit the center of it. So my lines were a little bit wonky, but it worked. And that hung on my kitchen wall until the fire that I had in 2002, and I lost almost everything in a fire. So, anyways, but I was hooked, and I remember how I would stay up all night stitching. I love stitching, and so I want to get. I do love stitching, but for me to sit on my rear end here and stitch hour after hour and feel that joy. I'm looking to feel that joy again. And I do from time to time, but I want to feel it every day. It's just like you want to feel vim and vigor every day. So, anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I have been working on the Pioneer Woman Heritage Heritage Floral, and it is coming along slowly, but I love the colors on the yellow. I really do. So those are the only two projects that I've stitched on. I haven't worked on my punch needle. Um, and so what I thought I would do was show you some of my finishes. And a couple of these are so old. I have no idea when I stitched them. I thought I stitched them in 2016 or after. But I'm not so sure. But these two are Mosey and Me freebies. This one is called Fun and Fast Rabbit. And he is adorable. He's like on a light violet colored even weave hand dyed, and underneath you will even see, you can see it or not, underneath his dye, yeah, there, I had stitched the bow tie that he was on, that was on the pattern, and I didn't like it, and I had bought these little barrettes, and I took them off of the barrette, and it made a perfect bow tie for my little rabbit. Now, a lot of this stitching, the back stitching around the edges, I improvised that because it didn't come on the pattern. And I was just delighted with the finish. And since this is springtime, I thought I would pull this out and show you. This is Mosey and Me. It's Fast and Fun Rabbit. And although Mosey and Me isn't designing anymore, if you go on the Wayback Machine, you can type in Mosey and Me, and it will bring up their site. And they've got a lot of free designs on there that from years past, decades past. And this one is called Spring Surprise. And he is just absolutely darling. And I used beads for his eyes. And I did improvise some of the back stitching on him also. He especially needed it on his head to define it, and he is absolutely darling. And he is on like a spring colored green even weave. I think that is even weave. But he's there also, and I just checked this morning to see if that is still on the Wayback Machine, and it is the Internet Archive. You can find so many old designers and on there, and sometimes you find their free designs on there. I am a freebie hog. I love freebies. This one is I don't know if you heard of Pinker and Pumpkin? She does quilting and she does cross stitch designs, and they're all free, and they're very primitive. They're like a primitive, a farm primitive kind of thing, you know. But this one is called Molly Williams Homestead, and I thought it would be appropriate. I haven't finished it, but I've fully finished it. But I thought it's darling, just absolutely darling. She's got a lot of stuff. I love her houses. I've stitched a number of them. And you can go on to Pinker, Pinkern, Punkin, Punkin, all one word.com, and go to her blog, and you can be downloading and printing stuff forever. So, highly recommend her. I have no idea how long this is. Oh, we're up to 11 minutes. I was going to show you one more thing. This was Stitchrovia, and I finished this. It's stitched on mushroom Lugana, and now I downloaded it. The story is that I saw a kit on eBay, and it was these vintage looking Santa ornaments, and they had the curled toe. Well, when I saw this design, this very much reminded me of those. It was felt. They'd send you the kits, and you'd put the felt together and sew it together. Well, that's what this reminded me of, except for it didn't have the curled toe on the Santas. So I stitched curled toes on them, and when I got done, I realized I could have done each of these as an ornament, and maybe someday I will. But he's very busy doing all kinds of stuff. And this is by Stitchrovia. It's called Busy Santa. It's darling. And this lovely thing is like 12 minutes. Oh, and this is the basket my brother and sister-in-law gave me for Christmas. It's big. And it's handmade and stained and everything, and I love it. And this is what I want to do. Whether I do it or not, that's another thing. Anyways, so and I retrieved a tray from out in my sunroom. I got to clean it up because we're going to have some nicer days, although it's going to be cloudy. But when it starts getting sunny, I'm going to load what I'm stitching on here and be able to march it out there and sit and stitch forever. One thing I did do, this is getting longer and longer, made myself a little pin cushion. It's not very good because it needs more of the crushed walnut shells in it. But anyways, it's some of the fabric that I got at the quilter station. And I like it. This is an egg cup, and I had purchased this at my favorite thrift shop, which is no longer in business. There was a price tag of $1 on it. I know I've got another one. I've got little tiny teacups and stuff that I've gotten there. How I miss that thrift shop. So anyways, that's some of my stitching today that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to let you go. And when I stream again, I stream again. God bless. Stitch well. Well, what I want to do is end this lovely thing. Where's the end? End stream.